this little joker here. Let's try. Wait. Can you guys hear me now? Does it work now? Hopefully it does. We're good? All right. It shows that we should be good. I'm seeing green. We're good? Sweet. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. This is why I do this for the first 30 seconds, because when you go live, you just never know if it's going to work or not. This is going to be, I say it every time, but I mean it this time, I promise. This is going to be a shorter live because we're only going to talk about one topic, and it's a very important topic. And if you saw the title, America, we have a problem, technically it should be world, we have a problem, because you'll understand why in just a second. So you guys know that I use X, the website, not the drug, a lot. Like I'm always on social media on X, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook because family, whatever. Sometimes I scroll Instagram for like workout tips and health stuff and things like that. And every once in a while I end up on TikTok, but that's only because so many people send me videos of other TikTok channels who have stolen my videos and put it up as their own. And so I'm constantly going through and be like, hey, thanks for sharing. Appreciate you getting the word out. If you could just tag a squirrel, that'd be great. Thank you so much. But I'm on X more than anything because it is the fastest source of information. And yeah, I did this because I believe it's the fastest source of information, but it's also, you got to be careful if it's real or not. And I want to explain this to you. So Elon Musk, I'm going to give a little lesson here, which I'm sure you've all heard before, but it never hurts to just refresh our memories, right? Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X, right? That's basically all we really need to know there. He bought Twitter, turned it into X. When it was Twitter, it was very, very left-leaning. It was like a 75-25. 75% of what was on Twitter at the time was more liberal, Democratic-leaning things, right? 25% more Republican, conservative, independent. Then Elon Musk bought it and it went more 50-50. It's been way more 50-50 for a very long time, which was great during the election process and everything leading up to November 5th and things like that, right? It was very good that we had both sides of the aisle or both wings of the bird to look at, whatever, right? And then Elon Musk came out with Grok. All right, y'all. So first we had ChatGPT. We talked about AI yesterday, and we're going to talk about it a lot more right now. So first we had ChatGPT. When ChatGPT came out, people were so excited because people were like, F Google, I don't like Google and Alphabet and all this other crap. We need somewhere else where we can go look besides like DuckDuckGo and all this other stuff. You want some place where you can go, just type in real quick a question and it gives you accurate information, okay? That's what ChatGPT started out as, is accurate information. Then Grok became a thing and everybody's like, oh, Grok is great. There was Grok 1, Grok 2. Now we're on the third phase of Grok, which is supposed to give you accurate information. Notice these little jokers right here, accurate information. But Grok 3 is also designed to talk to you like you and I talk to each other, like how we have this conversation. It's supposed to be conversational Grok, where it talks to you like a real person. And so it doesn't seem so, AI-ish when it's responding to whatever you're asking it. And I've already had instances, and we've talked about it over here, where I go to Grok and things like that to ask certain questions. And normally it's like, hey, Grok, how do I, make these carrots in air fryer? How do I cook meatballs? Like what temperature should I put this turkey at? Like random things like that. Because a lot of times when you look it up on YouTube, you got to go through 60 minutes of preparation and life story. And as much as I give y'all life story and all kinds of random stuff, I don't want to do it. Not when it comes to recipes and stuff. So I'll go to Grok and just ask questions, right? Well, there have been a couple of times, and we talked about this during the election process, where I would ask Grok a question, it would give me an answer, and I would go, well, no, that's not accurate, Grok. And so I would say, hey, Grok, you're wrong. And Grok would say, thank you for letting me know that. I'm still learning, which in and of itself is effing terrifying. But then you realize that ChatGPT, Grok, any of these other things, all they are pulling from the internet, right? Pulling from the internet. So while there is going to be a lot of accurate information, there's also going to be a lot of bull malarkey and lies and things like that. It's going to have opinion, I don't know, I did that there, opinion intermingled with actual facts. So then you have to, and I say it all the time, take everything with a grain of salt. You have to, hey, Marvin, you have to make sure that what you're seeing, hearing, reading, whatever is real and not fake. So my husband this morning, y'all know he has a channel. He has a YouTube channel, and he got on Grok this morning because sometimes it's easier for us as content creators. I guess I'm just doing this all day today. I don't know. As content creators, to ask certain questions to try to figure out like how to phrase certain things. So he went to Grok and he asked a question about how people are really feeling about the Democratic Party lately, right? Which Grok in turn should pull from news sources, should pull from social media, should pull opinions. This was an opinion-based question that my husband asked Grok. Okay, this is where it gets so incredibly interesting to me, and where the whole America, we have an effing problem comes in. So my husband asked a question, and this is how Grok responded to it. I'm going to read this to you, and we're going to get to the very first thing, and then you guys are going to be like, wait, this is where the problem comes in. All right, you ready this? So he said, well, he gave it his thoughts. So what my husband did is he typed into Grok what he was feeling when it comes to the political landscape right now between Democrats, Republicans, and everything else going on. And so Grok then says, because he said, you know, I need supporting evidence. My husband said to Grok, I need supporting evidence to help develop my thoughts, ideas, and emotions and sentiments, right? Like how he's feeling about our political landscape right now. Because now you have Elon Musk out there basically shitting all over one big, beautiful bill and President Trump, in theory. At least that's what social media and the news would have you believe. And then you have the lefts and the right and everything just kind of, everything's wonky, right? So he asked Grok this question, and Grok says, this is what Grok said. I want you guys to really pay attention. Grok said, your thoughts convey a deep frustration with the political landscape, a sense of urgency to counter misleading narratives, and a resolve to keep pushing forward despite the exhaustion of the fight, which is, you know, trying to get the truth out there is difficult when there's always so much negative coming towards you and so much false information coming towards you, right? And Grok said, to deliver this message in a way that resonates with your audience, you'll need to blend emotional appeal, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, are you ready? Below, I'll help refine your message, suggest ways to connect with your audience, and provide supporting evidence. Evidence. Y'all know what the word evidence means, right? Okay. Supporting evidence to bolster your points. And I want you to know that, where's the first one? Where's the first one? Where's the first one? Come on now, we can do this. Okay, here we go. We're going to go down here to supporting evidence. The rest of the stuff doesn't matter. Here's the supporting evidence. You ready? To strengthen your argument. This is what Grok wrote from X, who is ChatGPT, but like on crack, whatever. It says, to strengthen your argument, here's evidence aligned with your points drawn from the web and X sources, meaning people who have posted on X. Number one, ready? Y'all. This is, it says, Democratic disconnect with working class voters. An X post. It says, a user, Blue Collar Guru, October 2025, posted, Dems used to be for the working man. Now it's all pronouns and open borders. My union guys are done with them. This echoes Jennings' point about lost credibility. Okay, wait. Then the next one, an X post from Real America 22 in September 2025 says, my town schools are overcrowded, hospitals are packed, and wages are stagnant. Think Dems border policies for that. Then it says here, for cultural issues, listen to this, from at Common Sense USA, August 2025. Dems are out here fighting for 57 genders while I'm fighting to pay my rent. Priorities much? And then there's more. There's a lot more from 2025 and a lot of X accounts from 2025 that have not occurred yet. So my husband says, hold on. He goes, how could this be possible? How could this possibly be a reference or evidence-based source when this date hasn't even happened yet? To which Grok says, you're absolutely right to question the validity of this reference. The date on the X post, all of them, October, September, August, hasn't happened yet, as today is June 3rd, 2025. This means the post cannot be a legitimate piece of evidence or a reference because it doesn't exist at this point in time. Let me break this down and address the issue while we're finding how we can still support your message with credible, timely evidence. What the fuck? Like, okay, maybe y'all see it the way I do. So my husband went to every single one of these X accounts that X said these posts came from. He went to every single one and scrolled all the way back through. Because I said, well, what if it was 2024? What if for some reason Grok is off on the date and they posted these in 2024? And my husband scrolled through every single one, literally spent hours this morning scrolling through every single one. And guess what he did not find? Any of those posts anywhere. So then we're having a conversation and he says, I wonder if these X accounts have these scheduled to be posted at certain times throughout the year to continue to push this narrative, to continue to push a divide, to continue to mislead people. And that is why Grok can pick it up, because it's something that hasn't happened yet technically, but maybe it's scheduled. Maybe Grok is designed to lie to people. Maybe, who the hell knows? But at the end of the day, this should be extremely concerning for people, because now you're going to have even mainstream media who's not even going to think to do just a hint of research into this. You're going to see them quoting things that have never happened, telling you things that have never happened. That Mandela effect kind of stuff is going to come into effect, right? And it says here, why this reference is invalid. Future date. The post is dated October, which is 4 months ahead. Since this date hasn't occurred, the post cannot be a real source of evidence. It appears to have been included in error or as a hypothetical example. How can you call something evidence and then say it was a hypothetical example? Wouldn't you have had to say that you were including hypothetical examples as a form of evidence, which it can't be evidence if it's hypothetical? I am not a lawyer, but I'm also not dumb as dirt. And even I can figure out that there's something horribly wrong here, right? Then it says, no current existence. As of now, there's no way to verify the user at Blue Collar Guru's post because it doesn't exist in the current timeline. This undermines its use as supporting evidence for your argument. Like, what? I told y'all yesterday. I told you yesterday. It's AI is going to be, I would think the end of us is going to be because we forget how to procreate, because we've been pushed to, not have sex and, all this other stuff and not procreate. But AI is going to have a massive hand in this, because this is concerning on so many levels. Some people may not get it. I understand that. Some people may be like, who cares? It was wrong. It matters that it was wrong. It matters that we have so many companies and world leaders and people turning to AI for everything, right? You have people losing their jobs because they're bringing in robots. Well, robots are based off AI, artificial intelligence. If AI is communicating with these robots, but this AI information is incorrect, what happens to these robots? And all I can think of is the movie I, Robot with Will Smith, where those robots lose their ever-loving mind and, try to kill everybody. So the fact that this can blatantly lie to you and then not even, so it blatantly lied when my husband was like, hey, Grok, boo, that can't happen because it's not that time yet. Grok was like, oh, no, you're right. And that's it. That's it. It did not give any reason why it would give false information. It did not give any reason why it had this in its repertoire to even put out there, right? That should not be anywhere in its dome of existence, because it has not happened yet. It has not happened at all. Even if it is saved as a future post, which I assume you can time stuff, which would make these pages on X even worse, because that would mean that it is either Democrats, pages that are trying to push divide, or it's Republican pages that are trying to push divide. Either way, it's not a good look. You know what I mean? But the fact that it hasn't posted yet means that it shouldn't be something that AI could pull from if it's not something that's actually occurred. Right? Anyway, it was just absolutely crazy to me that this was real. Like, because here's the thing. Sometimes I am a miss the forest for the trees kind of girl. So my husband's sitting at the kitchen table and I just got done washing dishes and I was about to go to Pilates, which I just left from. So if I look like a hot mess, you can thank Pilates. So I was about to leave and he's sitting at the table and he's doing this. And so of course I'm like, what? Your head hurt? Do you need something? You want some water, something? He's like, take a look at this. And he turns the computer and I go over and I'm looking at this and I'm just scanning. I'm like just scanning and I see the parentheses And for some reason, my brain looked before the parentheses and after the parentheses. I didn't look inside the parentheses. And so I get a little bit through and I'm like, okay. And he takes my hand and he takes my hand and he puts my fingers down. And he puts it up to a pointer finger and he moves my finger to the date on the first one that said October 2025 and just looked at me. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, all right, I got it now. I understand. I completely missed it. Forest for the trees. And I wonder how many people on a daily basis are missing the misinformation that is shoved in their face because forest for the trees. They're looking at everything else around it and not at the other stuff. So yesterday, off topic, but ish. So yesterday, we talked about the guy in Boulder, Colorado, who had the Molotov cocktails and attacked the Jewish people, right? And we talked about the fact that he was here on his third, what is it called, B2 or whatever, visa under the Biden administration, even though he overstayed his first two. For some reason, they brought his ass back a third time and whatever else. Well, it just said that they just detained his wife and 5 children. ICE did. And I'm thinking to myself, why is there a wife and 5 kids? Like, is he coming here and like got married here and had kids here but he's not legal, so then he leaves and he comes back? I don't have all the information, but it was one of those things of it just, I don't know where the hell I was going with that, but either way, it was just interesting to me that not only is this person illegal, but they're also got a wife here and kids here. And I don't know if the wife and kids are legal or illegal, but anyway, I don't know why I thought about that. I just want to share it with you. At the end of the day though, we got to be real careful about what's going on because everything lies to you. Holy shit, everything lies to you. I may end up lying to y'all. Like, if I'm trying to bring you information off stuff like that I'm seeing and reading and whatever, and I bring you information and then it turns out it was wrong, like it was a lie, I would feel absolutely effing awful. But how do we as people verify anything when the things you're supposed to be able to use to verify things are effing lying to you? I'm just saying. So there's that. That's where I'm at. Like, how do you trust? The phrase is trust but verify. Well, if when you go to verify, the thing is like, I'm gonna lie to you a little bit more. How do you verify? Right? This is one of those bang your head on a wall kind of moments because it feels cyclical. Is that the word when you're like going around in a circle? It feels cyclical, which sick makes sense. You try to find the truth. So you go search for the truth and then you find something that tells you it's the truth. And then you realize that, wait, that's one little part of it doesn't make sense. And then it goes, oh, wait, I'm sorry. That wasn't the truth. That was like a half truth. And you're like, but what the and then right? Like, where do you go with that? That's it. That's all I got. I just wanted to tell you that, like, we're not even going to go through the whole Democratic stuff because that's not the important part here. Although, Democrat exhaustion is real, but everything else, it's crazy. This says final thoughts. Grok said final thoughts. The invalid X post from October 2025 was likely included as a placeholder or error. Okay, but it doesn't negate the broader point that you and Jennings, being Scott Jennings, are trying to make by replacing it with credible, timely evidence like the Pew and Gallup polls, whatever. Your message regains its strength. No, it doesn't. Here's the thing. If you give out false information and it's pointed out and it comes out that it's false information, you've lost your credibility. Whether it was purposeful or not, you've lost your credibility. And it's like, well, how do you regain that? It's a difficult place to be. And my phone is like overheating like crazy. It feels real dark in here. I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but my screen looks almost black because the phone is overheating. Yay, Samsung, way to do your job. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to, I guess, believe half of what you see and none of what, how does that even work? Half of what you see and none of what you hear. Well, I'm seeing this, and that shit lied. So I don't know where you're supposed to go with it. I'm just saying, maybe this is a sign to woosah, to step back from all the negative and the whatever else and just focus on the positive for a minute, right? Like, that's all I can, that's like my main takeaway from this is if you go searching for something that you're trying to prove as being negative, All that really does is, I mean, mess with your mind over time, I'm sure, and bring your spirits down because you're proving negative things, but you still want the truth, whether it's negative or positive. Bro, I don't even know what to do with that. So, so that's it. There you go. It says news is supposed to be current events, not AI. Yeah, well, news pulls from its sources. And if its sources are pulling from other sources that are wrong, like that's the whole thing. You have to wonder, because think about it. You have parody accounts, you have ones that blatantly lie, you have all these different things, and your news sources don't know which is real and which is not in the beginning. We've seen things where girl was kidnapped and blah, 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 and was ransomed. And then it turns out, no, bitch just ran away and called in a kidnapping because she wanted some money. Like it wasn't real. So but the news was out at the side of the road where the girl was last seen and all this other stuff. And then it turns out it's fake. Like even the news is wrong sometimes. This is the world we live in now. This is the world we live in now. That is what we take away from this. That you just never effing know what's real or not. That is all. Y'all, not very helpful to you today. Just, I found it extremely important to talk about because WTF. And that's about it. I'm going to let you go before my phone overheats and just craps on itself. So I love y'all. World's shortest live stream for me. Yay. Finally, we made it under 30 minutes. I'll see you again later after my phone has had time to cool down. But I would love your thoughts on this in the comment section below. WTF. That's all, y'all. I love you. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of I felt like Woody Woodpecker when I said it that way. Like the inflection, the up and down. Anyway. I love y'all. Have a good day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.